Hey, I'm OGDuffy and welcome to this week's Versus video. This week we're taking a look at the mighty, the way of the exploding fist. Ha! So, welcome back folks, and an apology first. Excuse the mess that's going on here and behind me and stuff. I'm having a bit of a sort out, and I'm just starting to get in my old game collection out of the garage. It's been in boxes in my garage eaves for over 10 years, and I'm just starting to make my way through it. These have been recent sort of pickups and stuff, so quite a few modern bits and that in there. But keep your eyes peeled, because in future videos we'll be taking a look as we go. But anyway, on to the subject in hand, which of course is the way of the exploding fist. Now, this game was a game changer, excuse the pun, for its time. This was a great beat 'em up where one player could take on another player and you could battle each other, battle friends and stuff. And it was so cleverly designed. I mean, typically your most sort of beat 'em ups were very much like you'd have your health bar and you knock the health bars down to get the KO to get the win. With this, it was more traditional karate style competition where you land blows and you'd have like yin and yang, and you get half a yin or a yang, whatever they're called, for a half decent blow. And if you got a good full blow, you get a full one. And you had to get 2 full ones, and then you'd progress to the next level and make your way through the dans to become, I don't know, the way of the exploding fist karate master, I assume. I'm not really up on my karate gear, but hey ho. But before we go into the way of the exploding fist, I do think we need to go back 1 year. Because basically, Exploding Fist came out in 1985, but in 1984, I think there was 2 key points that come out prior to this game, and I think they were in the arcade. We had Karate Champ, which was an arcade game based on karate, obviously, Karate Champ, and also the film Karate Kid. What a movie! And I think both of them factors helped make Exploding Fist what it is. Don't get me wrong, they're not affiliated in any way, they're not tied in any way or anything like that, so there's no connection. But we're going to take a quick look at Karate Champ, because I think this had something to do with the production of The Way of the Exploding Fist. So here we go, this is Karate Champ.
Good.
Okay, so this was Data East released this on the arcade, and this is of course Karate Champ. It was originally released just as a single player game, but have got a later release in the same year of 84 with a 2-player version, and they called that Player versus Player. Very original title there. But anyway, as you can see, basically you had twin joysticks for this, and you could use the twin joysticks in different combinations to create different moves and stuff. So what would happen, obviously you could move with one and put it at different angles to do different moves and combine it with the movement on the other stick, and you could then do all sorts of moves, as you can see there on the bezel down in the bottom of the screen. It gives you a complete rundown of what does what if you press it in which direction. So obviously there was a lot to master in this game, but it was original for its time. I mean, this was prior to your sort of Street Fighter 2s and all that sort of stuff. So there was no sort of health bar, and it was all based on a point-based system, as in like a traditional karate-style competition would have been. When this was released on the arcades, was very, very popular. All went down very, very well, especially in America, I believe. My understanding was there was 30,000 of these units were shipped to the US and sold in 85. I say it was released in 84, but by 85, over 30,000 had been released. And it was ended in the highest grossing games of the year. So a very good success there for the arcade. As you can see, it was an enjoyable game. It was good fun. But I've included this because I think this has a lot to do with the development of The Way of the Exploding Fist. So anyway, that's Karate Champ Arcade.
So there we go, that was Karate Champ. So I hope that you guys look at that and you can realise, actually, yeah, you know, if you know Exploding Fist, you'll now see a bit of a connection there. So without further ado, let's go and start looking at the two versions we're looking at today, which of course are the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64. And then we'll look at both versions, and as always, you will get my verdict. Now, please do like the video, do all that good stuff that you do for me all the time, but if you don't agree with my verdict, tell me in the comments, as always, alright? But don't be hating on the video if you don't like what I've got to say. But hey, let's have some healthy debate, and let me know why I'm wrong or I'm right. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. This is the ZX Spectrum version.
So this was the loading screen for the ZX Spectrum version. Quite a sharp image, not too bad at all. So, the way of the exploding fist. How did this work? Well, it was very clever in the design because you obviously had one joystick which could be moved in directions of 8 different points, and of course you had the fire button. So if you had your 4 basic up, down, left, right, and then the other obviously 4 angled positions which gave you different karate moves. But then if you pressed the fire button at the right point, it then gave you another 8 options again if you moved the joystick in that same direction. So it was very, very well designed on that front, and we'd not seen anything like that in terms of well, the amount of moves we could do all through a single joystick, or the keyboard of course. Playing 2-player versions with my friends with this was great fun, especially on a ZX Spectrum 48K little rubber keyboard. Yes, seriously, we would do it. We'd cram round it, and you'd have half the keyboard each. It was entertaining to say the least. But hey, great memories, happy days. Graphically, this was quite sharp for the Spectrum, and it played very, very well. I mean, as you can see here, didn't colour clash or anything. They did very well by using the great colourful backgrounds and keeping the main character sprites monochrome, and that worked brilliantly. So all in all, a very well programmed game. This sold loads. It was a great game for the day, and Melbourne House had a real hit on their hands with this on all systems. So sound, very basic, just your karate moves and that little ditty tune that you had between levels. But apart from that, this was a good, solid, all-round game. So a great effort for the Spectrum here. And now the Commodore 64. This was the loading screen. Melbourne House presents The Way of the Exploding Fist. Now obviously, the very first thing you notice is that awesome soundtrack that they've done for this game. Sound-wise, this was absolutely an amazing, great little tune that they'd programmed that played over this game, which of course was the Commodore 64's strengths in most games of this era. Their sound chip was just phenomenal, and this was brilliant. I had one little issue with the sound, which I'll tell you about in the verdict, but it's so minuscule it's hardly worth mentioning. Now, as you can probably see, it's more colourful graphically than the Specky version, and I suppose the player characters are probably not as sharp as the Spectrum version, the monochrome sort of graphics, but this version played faster. So if you're watching this now, you can see that the moves were faster. It was a faster game to play, which made it better overall. Again, you had your different levels that you worked through, and your yin and yang and all that sort of stuff. And again, this situation with the controller was the same as the Spectrum in relation to moving in the different directions. Then if you hit the fire button, it gives you another option in that direction and things. So this was a great game, and I do believe, but tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, let me know, that this was released on the Commodore 64 first, if I recall. And it was just so well done. I mean, just look at it. It was a thing of beauty. It really was. We all loved it, and I had great memories from all systems on this. But I remember playing it on the Specky, loving it. And I remember playing it on the 64, and of course loving it just as much. So, which one gets my verdict? You'll find out shortly, as per usual. But again, let me know any memories you guys have from this game. You know, I mean, we had this. There was follow-ups to it, which don't really warrant talking about much. But it was just such a big hit for the day. So, Melbourne House, great job on both systems. But which one takes it? Let's go, let's see, and let's see what my verdict says.
That concludes both versions of The Way of the Exploding Fist. Now, this was a great game. As I said to you right at the beginning, this was a game changer. And it was awesome on both systems. I loved the Spectrum version and I loved the Commodore 64 version. So, who takes it? It's the Commodore 64 for me. And as always, I'll explain why. I don't think it needs much explanation, but I'll tell you anyway. The graphics were better. It played faster. And the soundtrack was awesome. But hey, that's the C64 for you. But the Spectrum version was awesome in its own right as well. You know, the spec had its limitations, but this game was a game changer on both systems, and I can remember it being an absolutely amazing game at the time. So, respect to the ZX Spectrum version as well. If I had the one criticism of the Commodore version, it is the sound in respect of not the music. The music and everything else flowed. It was brilliant, but it was the sort of the karate sounds when the blows connected and the you know, the crunches and stuff. I found if they'd levelled it out slightly different, so say this is music and this is the game sound effects, I feel if they'd have done that with the game sound effects and kept the music here, I feel it would have been better. That is the only criticism I have. So that criticism is absolutely minuscule and minimal. So a very respectable win to the Commodore 64. Awesome game on both systems. Now, if you don't already do so, please do hit that subscribe button because A, makes me happy and I really appreciate it. And B, do let me know in the comments what you thought of the video, what you thought of the games, what your memories are, all that good stuff. Because I enjoy hearing your guys' opinions and I love engaging with you all about this retro game stuff. And also, if you've got any suggestions for future videos, please do let me have them. What games I can compare and stuff. But without further ado, I wish you all very well. I trust you're all well and good. I know I am. Have a great week. And I'll see you next week for our next Versus video. Cheers. If you watch the video and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe for more great videos. Thanks for watching.